like a bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Thank you for joining us again for another adventure in the great outdoors. Before we get started, don't forget to smash that like button, share the video, and make sure those notifications are on for future videos. You gotta know when they hit the channel so you can dive into these adventures with us. They're awesome. Last thing before we get started, don't forget to hit up Patreon, become a loyal team member, and also be entered into drawings to win gear, exclusively paid for adventures, and receive US Adventure Brothers merchandise as well. Let's dive in. This adventure began at Buckhorn Creek, Arizona. This creek runs for many, many miles, and it has a lot to show anyone who decides to get out and explore it. The views were spectacular, with high cliffs, small caves, massive rock faces, and even beautiful sunsets to blend with the mountains here. We came across an old property that appears to be unused, or maybe abandoned, and still has a couple of buildings along with a barn. There are foundations for buildings that are gone now, and spectacular old handmade rock walls. Palm trees line perfectly, and they are all the same exact spacing and height. It's really weird, but it's awesome. This place was pretty cool though. It needs to be respected if anyone were to come across it. It can only be seen for many years to come if it's treated right. This is some of the view that we have where we're camping. It's just beautiful. You know, even back here, you've got the rolling mountains over here. Next. don't have to walk very far, and you can find these rocks with the silver ore still embedded in them. There's a little bit in this one, but I found a couple of rocks that were just, they had a crazy amount of silver ore in them. Like here's one right here. Show you this one. Now, I don't know if the camera's going to catch it or not, but there's just a crazy amount of silver ore in these. Now, though, that one just looks like something else, but it is. It's silver ore. Thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, real quick, Jimmy's gonna fire a few rounds. This here is an AR-15, fires a .223 or a .556. One of these, what a lot of stupid people are calling ghost guns. Yeah, they're varmint hunters, is what they are in true terms. But they're fun, so he's gonna pop off a few rounds, have some fun. Quick, come here, I got something to show you. Come here. A lot of people aren't going to think this is very interesting. I think it is. It's in a cactus. Birds make things in cactuses. It's a nest. This is the kind of stuff I come out here for, and Jimmy. You know, we have a lot of fun. We find this kind of stuff. It's just really neat to see how these birds live. I mean, you can see that there's still feathers in. Ow! Yeah, see? Nobody wants to go in there to get them. I mean, there's still feathers in here. It probably isn't used too much anymore, but you know, I mean, it was definitely recent. I mean, it's just awesome to see how these birds nest up. And they're not very high off the ground. They don't have to be, because there's not a coyote in the world that would try to come into this dang cactus to get them either. I just thought it'd be pretty cool to show you guys, though. You know, there's cactuses everywhere. They got their defense. They don't need nothing else. No trees, they got their cactus, and they could land on these and it don't hurt them. They know where to land. It's one of the most primitive ways to not have to carry around a weapon with a bunch of gunpowder and bullets, and they're reusable, as a bow and arrow. You can survive for a long time if you got a bow and arrow and you're in need, stuck somewhere in the wild. If you get pretty good at it like he is, you can really start tagging some food if you need it. It's fun too. So I just got back. I was out trying to get a couple of birds, and one thing we've come across in the past, and we have also done a video in, is self-defense. Unfortunately, we just got back. He was down here cooking, and I went off for just an evening bird hunt for quail. Remember, you have to have a license for that. You have to make sure that you're not on private property. If you are, you got permission. But I was out there on a bird hunt, and what sounded like, you know, you open up the belly of the beast. It just, bushes started crashing around me. I started hearing hoofs, and I thought for a second that it might be cattle. There might be cattle around, or maybe donkeys or something, because we are, you know, probably 30 miles or 20 miles north of Lake Pleasant area, camping somewhat in the desert. We're in a big gulch down here. And out of nowhere, Javelina started to come out. And mind you, these things usually run from you. They're more scared of you than we are them. But sometimes they are provoked or not provoked. They will attack. And this thing came straight at me. And I ended up having to put it down. And it got probably within 15 yards of me. And, you know, that was about as close as I was going to let it, screaming and hollering. And it still came barreling straight at me. So I ended up having to put down a Javelina. But that's why I have emphasized in videos that it's always a good thing to carry a pistol, because if you don't, you can run into a situation like that and be in a really bad spot, and this will probably get you out of that bad spot. You know, unfortunately, you'll have to put down a wild animal that you may or may not eventually take home and eat, depending on what your, you know, thoughts of that is. But you know, I mean, it's needed. And Javelina, they're wild. For all of you who don't know what a Javelina is, it's a wild pig, but they're not like your average wild pig.
they stink. They smell like urine. Some people eat them, some people don't. Some people hunt them. You have to have a tag to hunt them. But in this situation, it was not something I could prevent. So, but yeah, it was nuts. I had to call Jimmy halfway down because I can only do so much. My ankles and my back are shot right now, and my knee. So I had to call him from the ridge line, and he came over and helped me. But it was just it was something I wanted to express to you guys. It's definitely something you need to stay very understanding of. It's what you would call the wild, whether it's desert, woods, the Sahara. It doesn't. If you're in Africa, it absolutely does not matter. There are still animals out here that can hurt you, all the way from the smallest to the largest thing you can find in the state of Arizona or in any other state or country. So don't ever forget that.
That's all we've got for today, folks. But don't forget, unleash your wild side.